Yo, whoa. It's your boy Clock Sports, man. We back at it again, man. Back at it with a banger. So let's get this video started, all right? Make sure you subscribe, like, subscribe, share, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to grow this channel, and that's all I ask. Like, share, subscribe, man. We out here, all right?
I grew up with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In fact, when I was a kid in my driveway, that was who I mimicked. Bizarrely, not a guard, I did the hook shot. And for people of Nick's generation, it's easy to forget how dominant Kareem was. He literally has the greatest, most unstoppable shot ever. He was all NBA defense like 15 times. So Nick, when you were doing this list, you knew Kareem would be up there.
Yep.
Was there ever a revelation? I'll tell you one of the revelations I had with him. So years ago, I watched an HBO documentary, I think, on Lou Alcindor.
Okay, I just want to say this. For people who don't know basketball, or people, my top 10 is Michael Jordan number 1, Kareem number 2, Bill Russell number 3, Magic number 4, and Larry Bird number 5. And I got Kobe 6. The rest of the list is kind of fluid after that. So for me, I have Kareem up there. Kareem won in high school, Kareem won in college, and Kareem won in NBA. So he's the only player that done that. Won at every level you can think of, he won. But the problem people had with Kareem was, for most of the time, he was more like not a leader time to time. He was not a leader. He didn't lead his team, troop. He was more like, okay, I'm the best player, pass me the ball and move the fuck out the way. And he was more like a KD role. But Kareem, if you don't have Kareem up there on your list is trash. But let's listen to these dudes, man. Because Nick Wrong and Colin Conherd, they from the cap. But so let's keep listening.
And they showed video of his first year at UCLA. It was about a 12-second clip. Okay, UCLA they were national champs. He played for the freshman team, and they beat him by 40 in a scrimmage.
Yep, so they were the best team in basketball, and the freshman team beat them. So here's the thing on the Kareem thing, because something very interesting has been being sent my way, which was one of my very first appearances on your show back in 2016. I did my top 20 ever at that point, and I had Kareem behind Michael, behind LeBron, I think also behind Magic, and people have said to me, oh, okay, so Kareem, I don't know if I had him behind Magic or not. In 2011, I did it for a radio show. People were like, oh, Kareem, scored a lot of points, did a lot in the last 5 years, huh, Nick? And the answer was no, I just hadn't done the research on it. I just was not, because...
Just like you have not done enough research on Michael Jordan. And I think you have done the research on Jordan. I just think you hate Jordan. Those guys, they want LeBron to be number 1 so bad. They really cut other people's throat to get there. But if you go look at the number, the type of competition, 50 plus win, Jordan is 20-7. And from 1990 to 1998, Jordan never lost 2 games in a row. More than 2 games on the road. From 1990 to 1993, nobody had a better 3 years than Jordan. Jordan won 3 straight MVP, All NBA, All-Star MVP, defensive, first team All Defense. That man won first team All Defense, first team All NBA, first team All NBA, champion, final MVP, regular MVP, regular season MVP, and All-Star MVP. Who does that?
Here is the problem. There's a lot of levels to why Kareem doesn't get the. I am not arguing Kareem's the greatest player ever. I am arguing the greatest player ever discussion should be 3 names. It has been, for some people, it has been 1 name forever, Jordan. For some people, they've opened it up just enough to say LeBron could be in it. I'm arguing Kareem is in the discussion.
Yeah.
So here's one of the things I think one of the things that has hurt his, reputation amongst people my age or younger. They are old enough to remember him as a lesser version of himself. It's not like Wilt or Russell, who we never saw. I did see Kareem, but he was wearing goggles and he was scoring 17 points a game on Magic's team. So it's like when you think of Kareem, you're not thinking of Lou Alcindor, the Milwaukee Bucks, how dominant he was. I think you're thinking of kind of, balding, gawky-looking guy with goggles, and that's not who he was. And so the argument for Kareem is very simple. Take it out of basketball. Let's go to football, and let's pretend Tom Brady didn't exist, okay? And it's like we're trying to figure out who the best quarterback ever is. It's between 3 guys. And I'm going to make the case for player A. Player A has, of the whole group, the most MVPs. He has thrown the most touchdowns. He has been to...
For me, I don't know what he's talking about. When you're talking about football, for me, I feel like Tony Montana. Let me say Tony Montana. I mean, Joe Montana should be considered on that list of a top best quarterback ever. Because if you're looking at the era of difficulty, the era that he played by itself, you know what I'm saying? Like the way they play now, they can't even play like that anymore because they were out there to kill a quarterback. You know what I mean? They were out there to kill a quarterback. Meanwhile, I'm not trying to throw shade on Brady at all. Brady benefit from this era. He benefit from the Belichick defense. He benefit from the best front line he always have. He benefit from the Patriot. So I'm not saying he's not great. All I'm saying is this: Brady benefit a lot from the squad they surrounded him with, and he had Aaron Hernandez, and he had the best tight end ever, the best tight end who ever played the game. The only weapon Joe Montana had was Jerry Rice, and so it's like you can't really compare. I mean, 49ers always had a okay defense, but as far as like when you start talking about quarterbacks and stuff like that, I'm forever gonna put Joe Montana in there. I'm not trying to say Brady's not good. I just say Brady benefit. You can't even touch a quarterback nowadays. You can't touch him. You can't. So it's like it's easy to play. And Brady always had the best team. He always had the best team. So if you got the best team and you got a great defense, people forgot. Fun fact: all them years Brady played in Patriot, they always have a top 5 defense in the league. If you have a top 5 defense in the league, even if you're down by 20, or let's say you're down by 28, like they were down in the Super Bowl, you still can come back and win. You still can come back and win because your defense alone gonna carry you. They're gonna carry you. So Brady always have good defense. Brady always have a great front line. Brady always have great weapons. The notion that he don't play, he play with nobody. Yeah, okay. Keep telling yourself that.
The most Super Bowls, and he's tied for the most Super Bowl wins. Would anyone argue, well, he's not in the discussion? Of course not. Kareem's got the most points, the most MVPs, the same rings as Jordan, the same finals appearances as LeBron. He's got to be in the discussion. And
Right.
so once you agree that it's a three-person discussion, someone's got to come in third. And that's where the Jordan folks are going to get mad at me. But when we're talking about the greatest ever, every little bit matters. Jordan played far, far shorter than the other guys. You can argue he reached a higher peak if you want, but when he played really 7 years less than Kareem or LeBron did, that has to matter. Because they played at high. LeBron is still playing at a high level. Kareem, we have been told, Colin, that Michael Jordan averaging 20 points a game for a shitty Wizards team at age 40 is a badge of honor. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar averaged 22 points a game in the NBA Finals at age 40. So then we go to when they first walked.
Okay. He said a lot right here. Let's just dissect what he said. He said Kareem averaged 22 in the finals. What he forgot to tell you is Kareem had Magic, which he is top 5 of all time. And he top 75. And he arguably the best point guard that ever played a game. That's number one. He had James Worthy. He had James Worthy on the team. James Worthy, top 75, top 30 of all time. Then Byron Scott, he had Byron Scott, he had Michael Cooper. That team was not, it was not like he was playing with a bunch of nobody. You know, Kareem had great teammates around him. That's why he was in the finals. He wasn't in the final because of him. They were in the finals because of Magic. Magic was carrying that team. That team was going as far as Magic go. That's why they were in the finals. And because of Kareem, you know what I mean? Like, we saw what Kareem was doing when he was by himself. He missed the playoff. By himself. And they still gave him the MVP because of the type of number he was pulling in. But Kareem's game always been depending. He don't have an independent game where he can take a team somewhere. No. He need others to join him, to be with him, and for him to get to the next level. So, yeah, Kareem was great. I'm not saying Kareem was not great. I have Kareem top 2 on my top 10 list. But the notion that we got to throw shade on Jordan because Kareem was in the final at 40. But look at the team that they was playing with. Look at the team that they wasn't surrounded with. You know, like Jordan was supposed to make the playoff with Popeyes Jones, Tyronn Lue, Kwame Brown, Whip Hamilton. He was gonna make the playoff with those guys. I mean, he was supposed to make the finals with those guys. Even though they were barely was gonna make the playoff until Jordan got injured on his ribs or something. So they were there. Jordan was gonna carry them, but at the same time, let's be realistic. How far do you think they were gonna go? Because I believe they were gonna go to the playoff and then probably bounce. Because he had nobody. I mean, you're not going far with Whip Hamilton, which was a youngster, Popeyes Jones, Tyronn Lue, Kwame Brown, and then the enforcer, Oakley. Really? Cut it out, man. Cut it out.
Walked into the league, Kareem was the best player. LeBron was finishing top 3 in MVP by year 2, and he was straight out of high school. And then it's also like,
yeah, what he not gonna tell you is LeBron also missed the playoff. The first 2 years that he got in the league, he missed the playoff. He finished top 2. Nobody care about that. It's all about the postseason. He didn't even make the postseason Melo did. People on his classmate did. So stop the cap, Nick. Stop the cap.
Oh, okay. So like, let's just what's the profile coming into the league? I don't know. Like, LeBron was the greatest prospect ever. Kareem was a franchise changer that took a 27-win team to 56 wins. Jordan took a 27-win team to 38 wins. They both had won 27 games before he got there.
With 38, and he still make the playoff. LeBron first 2 years missed the playoff. Meanwhile, Carmelo make the playoff. And on top of that, what they're not gonna tell you is they forced to give LeBron Rookie of the Year when he didn't even deserve it. I don't understand for the life of me how somebody how Melo then win the Rookie of the Year. Melo had all the votes. Not all the votes. Melo was Rookie of the Month every single month. Every single month back in 03. Still didn't get Rookie of the Year. That was the most biggest robbery. If it's not the biggest robbery, I don't know what is. So, and on top of that, when Jordan got to the Bulls, they made the playoff. Why your queen couldn't make the playoff, dog?
And Jordan was a really good college player who went third in the draft. Like, that's interesting. Was Kareem ever going to go third in the draft? I don't think so. Was LeBron ever going to go third?
LeBron should have went third on the draft. He should have. But this is, I'm going to tell you why he didn't. Because they were marketing LeBron from day one. They want him to go number one. Because I don't understand how a guy like Melo, once again, I don't understand how a guy like Carmelo Anthony, who won a NCAA title with Syracuse, did not go number one. He should have been number one. But the reason why he didn't go number one, we all know, is politics. They want LeBron to come to the league to come save the league. Because the league was in such a trash when Jordan left. That's why he had the tattoo on his back, chosen one. Don't acting like LeBron should have been drafted first. He shouldn't. D Wade should have drafted before him. Melo definitely should have drafted before him because Melo have done way more that year. He did way more. He took a team like Syracuse to the tournament, won the whole thing. So if you ask me, he should have been number one. But we all know how that shit go. It's politics. The league is full of politics, and they were pushing the LeBron narrative on everybody's throat. That's why you'll see his game was on ESPN. This was the first time I see a high school game on ESPN. That was crazy how they were marketing LeBron. They were over marketing his ass. It's a failure. Go to 10 finals, win 4. That's a failure to me. If I take a test, it's 10 questions. I only have 4 right, and 6 out of 4. I only have 4 out of 6 that's right, and 6 is wrong. I'm not passing that test. So, but you're a fanboy. You don't see the things for what they are. You don't see what that man have done. LeBron have so much help. He got so much help to be champion. If Ray Allen don't hit that shot, what we really talking about? If Kyrie don't really hit that shot, what we really talking about here? If AD didn't hit that shot in the Western Conference, if AD didn't play the way he played, what we really talking about here? This man have More top 75. He played with more top 75 player than anybody in the NBA history. He still have a failure career, but you still pumping him to be the best, the greatest. How? When he got the most failure on his resume than anybody else.
I don't think so. So I just, listen, they're all unbelievable. I think Kareem has been, and one last point.
Jordan also won an NCAA. And when I say he won, it was because of his shot that won that title. Because his shot, they passed him the ball, he took the shot, and then they won. But you out here capping, waiting to put your life on the line for LeBron. That's sad, bro. That's sad. Y'all want to be Savannah James so bad. That's crazy.
The media barely covers outspoken black guys now fairly. How about we go 50 years ago and he's a converted Muslim? How do we think the average sports writer covered Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he's battling John Havlicek? Probably not great.
I always thought it was this simple. I'll ask you a question. The biggest knock on Jordan is this. How many playoff series did he win without Scottie Pippen?
0. He won one playoff game without Scottie Pippen.
Kareem and LeBron won multiple championships with other players. Jordan.
Ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard what he said. Kareem and LeBron win multiple playoff series with other players. Other players. So Big O was other players. Big O, for people who doesn't know, averaged a triple-double for multiple seasons and also make the top 75. And Big O was phenomenal. Okay? So that's number one. We all know about Magic. We all know about the rest of the players that Kareem played with. As far as LeBron James goes, we all know what he did. D-Wade, it was not a other player. D-Wade is a top 75 player. Before LeBron James come to Miami, D-Wade won a championship, won a final MVP. 09 and 10, D-Wade made first team All-NBA, first team All-Defense. And 2010, lead the league in scoring. So is that another player? Chris Bosh was with 24 and 10. Kyrie Irving was the up and coming prospect as far as a point guard. Kevin Love was a double machine. Anthony Davis, one of the best big men we all ever seen. Like, those guys are all the players. Come on, man. All those guys. D-Wade made top 75. AD made top 75. Ray Allen made top 75. Let's see. Ray Allen made top 75. D-Wade made top 75. AD made top 75. Most of the players that LeBron and Kareem played with were in top 75. So for you guys to come out and say what y'all said, oh, LeBron went with other players. Was he playing with guys like Popeye Jones and guys like Kwame Brown, guys like Tyronn Lue? Those were the guys that he won with, or he won with great talent, top 10 talent. Because for people who forgot, LeBron's career was a failure before he got to Miami. D-Wade almost won the finals by himself. If LeBron James only played like, I don't know, if he scored like 16 to 17 points per game, they won the series. They won against Dallas, but that man was meltdown. He was meltdown.
Could not win without Pippen. And Michael,
Well,
by the way, because of his.
Go ahead, sorry.
Also, what did Pippen win without Mike? I mean, when Pippen left Chicago, for people who don't know, when Pippen left Chicago, Pippen would team up with 2 top 75 players. He would team up with Hakeem and Barkley. Couldn't get the job done. Then he went to Portland. He went to Portland playing with a young team. They got to the Western Conference Finals. Couldn't get there. So what did he really do? What did he won without Jordan? And for people who don't understand, Pippen was so bad back then. If Pippen was drafted, I don't know, by, let's say, Milwaukee, or let's say Cleveland, I don't believe Pippen would have made top 75. I don't believe he would have. Jordan had to tough that man up, man. Jordan had to elevate him.
Because of Michael's style, which you often saw. You saw it in Washington. You saw it in his first 5 years in Chicago. He did not play well with other scorers. He played well with Pippen, who acknowledged he would be in the passenger seat. LeBron won without Kyrie. He won without it.
Oh man, these guys, man, they funny as hell. Jordan had nobody on that team, man. He had nobody. It was all Jordan or bust when he first got to the league. He did play with the Iceman, but Iceman was on his way down. Right after that season, Iceman retired. It was not the same Iceman from back in San Antonio days. No, Iceman was not even on his prime anymore. Iceman was declining really bad when they played together. And that notion, like, hold on, let me rewind this, because he said something interesting. Let me rewind this.
Because of Michael's style, which you often saw. You saw it in Washington. You saw it in his first 5 years in Chicago. He did not.
His first 5 years, he didn't have a competitive teammate like Kyrie. He didn't have a teammate like Kyrie. He didn't have a teammate like Kevin Love. He didn't have a teammate like Wade, Bosh, Kyrie, Love, or AD for that matter. And in Washington, he definitely didn't have nobody with him. So what are you talking about here? What are you talking about here, man? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. LeBron couldn't get the job done with Antoine Jamison. He couldn't get the job done with Shaq. He couldn't get the job done with so much other great players.
Play well with other scorers. He played well with Pippen, who acknowledged he would be in the passenger seat. LeBron won without Kyrie. He won without AD.
Yeah, he won one without Kyrie. Like when he was in Miami, that system that he needed to win because he couldn't win shit on his own. Yeah, okay. I love how y'all downplay his teammates, but they all gonna be first ballot. They all gonna make since the top 75 is over with. I believe the next top 100, Kyrie gonna be in there, even though I think his career is overrated. But I believe his career, they're gonna put him in there. He gonna finish top. He gonna be retired once he retires. He's gonna be a first ballot. Kevin Love gonna be a first ballot. Yeah, keep downplay his teammates. Like they didn't play well. Like they were not the reason why that man won.
He won without titles, without D Wade. Kareem won in Milwaukee. Kareem won in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Kareem won in Milwaukee. He had Big O. Dum Dum. Kareem won in Milwaukee. He had Oscar Robinson. Kareem won in LA. He had Byron Scott, Magic Johnson, Byron Scott, James Worthy, Cooper. So, yeah, he had great talents around him. Every time, those players that you talking about, they win with great talents. So I don't know what you're talking about, Colin Cowherd. You just twerking for your man, LeBron.
Multiple times. Like, there is value that Brady, we know Tom is wonderful. The idea that he can win a title with Bruce Arians, with a different collection and a different culture, absolutely establishes him as a notch above Elway, Manning.
Okay.
It matters.
Right, you mentioned Pippen. I always go to Phil Jackson. Jordan, of course, would have been a champion without Phil Jackson. I believe that.
Right.
But it is an element of Kareem won titles with 3 different head coaches. LeBron has won.
So now they're gonna move the goalposts about coaches. What is Phil Jackson win without Jordan when he first got there? I mean, last time I checked, Phil Jackson didn't win shit before he got there, as far as like coaching wise. I mean, in the NBA. Hell, Phil Jackson was an assistant coach for Chicago Bulls. So the notion that Jordan needed Phil or Phil made Jordan, just tell me what Phil won in the NBA before he got to Chicago. Tell me, because I'm interested to know. Because last time I checked, it was nothing. Maybe I need to do my research some more, because I know for a fact it was a partnership. The Phil Jordan thing was Jordan buy into his system, and then they won. But Jordan would still have to go out there and perform.
Titles with 3 different head coaches and been to the finals with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different head coaches. Michael had Phil the whole time. And though, again, if Mike believe that, but it is an element of Kareem won titles with 3 different head coaches. LeBron has won titles with 3 different head coaches and been to the finals with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different head coaches.
Out of 5, how many did he win? People don't. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about how many finals you went through with 5 different coaches. It's not about that. It's about result. Did he win? No, he did not win. So they got to move the goalposts for their man, LeBron, because they know if you look at the big scheme of things, that don't mean shit. If I go right around across the street, I got my ass kicked, I don't know, 5 times. I make it to the final round and I get my ass kicked 5 times. I'm not gonna come out here and say, oh, you know what? I made it to the finals. For what? I got my ass kicked. I got my ass kicked. Those are the things they're not gonna tell you. They're not gonna tell you the defeat. But I'm here. I'll tell you about it. All that 5 coach that man is talking about, I guarantee you they're more in the losing side than in the winning side. But they got to move the goalposts to help LeBron narrative. because that's what they do.
Michael had Phil the whole time. And though, again, if Michael had played longer and played at that level, then maybe he's the guy. And he obviously is the guy for a lot of people. But
You hear that? Maybe he's the guy. He is the guy. He is the guy. I mean, if you look at what the man done, 2 3-peats. LeBron have not have a 3-peat yet. He have not done it. In year 20, I doubt it. I doubt it if you're gonna get a 3-peat. I doubt it. Ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I don't think it will ever happen.
the other thing is that people are like, why didn't Kareem win more in the 70s? And that's a fair knock. But what's also true is where I don't think people, because again, I'm an NBA nerd, and it wasn't until I did this project that I really drilled down on it. There's some weird things going on. All of a sudden, the NBA is like, hey, it's a best of 3 in round 1. It's like a best of 3. There was 1 year Kareem's team had the 2nd best record in their entire conference, but they didn't get a bye because they didn't win their division, and now they're in a best of 3 against Moses Malone, and it's like, well, that sucks. You lost game 1, you lost game 3. Your season's over. It's like, we won 54 games. I averaged 34 points a game in these 3 games. I'm out. The season's over.
Yeah.
I can't defend my title. Like, so some weird stuff happened, and I think that my general, if people take anything away from this project, and you know how long I've been working on it because I was working on it with you a couple of years ago. I would like it to be at least when people talk about the greatest player ever. I don't care if they land on LeBron. I think it is LeBron. I think my kid.
No, you do. You do care. You do care. Whenever they don't say LeBron, you melt like an ice cream. He's not LeBron. Cut it out, man. Cut it out. The only reason why you make the list, because you want to make LeBron happy. You know, because I believe those guys got a relationship with LeBron. I believe, especially Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp. I believe them two. They have a relationship on social media, because we see Nick Wright, we see Shannon Sharp receive bottles from LeBron James' crew. We have seen that. So I honestly believe Nick Wright and Shannon, they both have a relationship with LeBron. So they come out with some crazy takes, crazy analysis just to please LeBron. That's why they do that, you know. As far as all this rumbling is talking about, all you got to do is go look at the numbers. All you got to do is competition-wise, it's not even close. From 50 plus wins in the playoff, Jordan is 20-7, and Jordan scored more in the playoff than in the regular season. His average go up. Jordan have done so much to the basketball. It just, that's why people keep saying, whenever they talk about other sports, they say, oh, he's the Michael Jordan of this sport. He's Michael Jordan of that sport. When you're talking about Michael Jordan, you gotta talk. Michael Jordan is in the class of Wayne Trubisky, Jordan, Brown, and Babe Ruth. If Babe Ruth, Wayne Trubisky, that dude that played for Cleveland, Brown, he was the running back, and then Michael Jordan. You can't. It's not about the numbers. It's not about how many championship or how many points they score. It's like what they done, the impact. Can't duplicate it. You can't do it. You can't duplicate it, man.
We'll look at it unequivocally as LeBron. However, I want them to open the possibility that it's Kareem, that it should not be considered just a Michael versus LeBron thing that Kareem should be included in.
Yep, there you got it, man. Capping, Colin Cowherd and Nick Wright for their boo thing, LeBron. Yeah, man, if you enjoyed this video, man, you know what to do, man. Subscribe, like, and share. All right, peace.